Hello.
Hello.
Oh yeah, we do have all our faces on there. It worked. And I can hear everybody.
You probably couldn't hear me because my microphone was off. But welcome to a very special segment we're doing today. Our friend Paul from the Varmints Podcast, an incredible podcast, is actually interviewing us for, I believe it's called Podfix 6, one of the things our Podfix network is doing.
Yes, absolutely. So on the last episode of I don't know if it's called Podfix 6 or Pod 6.
I think it's Pod 6.
I think it's
Oh,
Pod
that's my
6.
bad. I missed the
Yeah, that's
marketing.
Great job, Zach.
all right. On the last episode, way back, long time ago, Bob Haynes from the Cretans Guild interviewed me about my projects. I'm the host of the Varmints Podcast, and I have a side project called Check It In with Chomo that I haven't done anything with in a while. So I don't really want to call it a podcast. It's just sort of a little thing that I do. So he interviewed me about my projects, and that was months ago. And life happened, and I haven't gotten around to picking the person that I wanted to interview with. So the interviewee has become the interviewer, and I have the pleasure of talking to you two guys today.
Ah, sweet.
Yeah,
We were
it's
chosen.
amazing. We're very excited to talk to you, for sure.
Thank you. Um, am I on? So how's this working? Am I on your show right now?
Yeah,
You guys-
it's show inception. We're on your show while you're on our show.
Whoa.
Mind blown.
Mind blown. Okay, so how this works is we are going to ask you guys 6 questions. They're not going to be very hard questions. And they're going to be a little bit about podcasts, a little bit about other things, and you just answer the questions and we'll have fun with it. The first question should be pretty easy. And Kirk, you're going to go first. How did you two meet and decide to do a podcast together?
Well, we met in high school. No, middle school. We met in 6th grade. We went to school together. And heck, I think we became friends in 6th grade.
Mm-hmm.
So he was one of my first friends that I made at that school. I think we were both new.
Yeah.
Or
that
did
was
you
my
go a
first
year
too.
before? Yeah,
No,
it
my
was
first
both
year
of our
too.
first year, so we were kind of like new kids, and we were friends since then. And then technically, me and Josh decided to make a podcast, and we kept baiting Zach to try to come onto the show, and we got him to guest star one time, and we did say, dude, that was so much easier. It was so much better with 3 people, because specifically at the beginning, because we were not very good at filling in that space and having discussion continue. And so having the third person was perfect to always have a discussion that was going forward. And
I didn't realize you guys have known each other that long. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, really, really long time at this point. We've had several times where we've worked together. We've had just a long history of being around each other, and so it kind of just felt seamless. And I mean, the other host was my brother, so it was definitely something. It was when I guest starred on that first episode of the podcast, which was, I think it was like episode 14, and it was about 3.5 years ago, something like that. And it wasn't a hard thing to step into because I've been talking to these two jabronis for a long time.
And then you got the bug and you created sort of a little spin-off podcast called The Creator's Cove.
Yes. Yeah, and it almost truly is just a spinoff. So on the other Discovery show, for a long time, I was just featuring a single at the end of the episode. I'd gotten to about, I think we had somewhere 75, 80 different artists that I had featured at the end of the show. And it just came from a place where I like discovering new music. I like to go out there and dig for stuff that maybe I haven't heard of before, but I immediately click with when I hear it. And honestly, the story is kind of just coincidence and me just riding out a wave. One of the bands that I reached out to for the other Discovery show, I had to go through their PR agent because they're a larger band, so they had people working for them. And when I reached out to her, she said, "So when do you want to set up the interview?" And that was completely unlike any other time we'd done it. It was essentially I would just play their single at the end of the show. But she said that, and I had this moment where I thought, okay, I have never interviewed one of these musicians, but do I want to? And so I literally was just like, how does Monday sound? And I essentially just kind of took that as a chance to branch off and dig in more to each of these different artists and find out more about their story and still highlight them, highlight. And there's crossover because a lot of times the bands, well, the most of the time since then, the band that we feature at the end of the other Discovery show, if they want to know more, they could go listen to a Creators Cove episode that has their entire kind of journey through music.
That is so cool. That is so cool. So I've gotten podcast recommendations from you guys. I've learned things that I've never known before from the other Discovery show, and you've turned me on to new music.
Yeah.
It's the dream, honestly. It really is. I remember there was definitely a time where I think the one I specifically remember is we talked about a YouTube channel that's a guy that literally teaches people how to alter their clothes so that all their clothes fit better. And somebody tweeted to us the picture of them doing exactly that. Them altering their clothes because they listened to our show and then they checked out this guy, and so they learned something new literally from it, and both of us were just like, wow, this is awesome. That's exactly what we always hoped would happen.
Yeah, he actually took it a step further. Because of that, I think he became, he's like, man, I can make clothes. And he started doing cosplay for like cons and stuff. So now he's like the leader of his cosplay guild in his area in Portland, which is really cool. I like to say that was because of us.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I'll start with this question. That was the first question, by the way. This is the second question, and it's from Bob Haynes from the Cretans Guild, and he wants to know, what was your proudest moment as a podcaster? Would it be either a segment or a response or a guest or anything that makes you want to kind of hang your hat on? Kirk, why don't you go first with that?
I'm glad I get to go first because we probably have a very similar one, me and Zach. We went to Podcast Movement last year, and it was amazing. It was great. The people that we were able to meet, and it was like our heroes because we actually were, podcast consumers. It was funny because we would see all these huge names in podcasting be walking around and no one's even talking to them or acting like they know them. And I'm like, that's when it clicked to me that a lot of these people make podcasts, but they don't listen to that many podcasts. I'm like, that's Aaron Mahnke. That's Glenn Washington from Snap Judgment. That's Earlonne Woods from freaking Ear Hustle. How? Like, go say hello. These people are giants in the industry. So we got to meet all these people, and that was really cool. But we met Cal Fussman, who used to write for, what was it, Zach?
Rolling Stone, was it?
Maybe it was.
I think
he
worked for several different people at different times.
Basically, he would interview people, and that was his job. He had some crazy stories. He interviewed Muhammad Ali. He interviewed Lady Gaga. He interviewed Brad Pitt. He interviewed all of these people. And after he did this talk, me and Zach went up and met him, and we told him what our show was about. And he's like, "That's pretty cool." And Josh wasn't there, and he said, "So where's the other guy?" I'm like, "Oh, well, he's gonna come by tomorrow." And he's like, "Okay, well, come by the booth tomorrow, and I'd love to talk to you guys more." So we went by the booth the next day, and it's funny because this is the way he is. He likes to like make friends, like that's his ethos.
He's a very experience-based guy. He likes to just have these journeys of experience.
So we waited till he did his like meet and greet, and then we went and talked to him. He's like, "Hey guys, do you guys want to come back to my hotel room and I'll interview you guys?" And I'm like, "Wait, you've interviewed Muhammad Ali and Lady Gaga and Brad Pitt, and you want to interview us?" And so we were able to be interviewed by Cal Fussman, which was nuts. And we were actually on his show, and we were able to talk about it as well. That was the one that kind of blew my mind.
That is so cool. So I am exactly 1 degree of separation between, myself and him, because Kirk, you are still to date the only podcaster I've ever met in person.
I do remember that. It was a good time.
I was up there for work, and we went and we got a drink, and you gave me some watermelon, and you sent me on my way.
That sounds like a Kirk move. Just like, hey, let's have a drink, and here's some watermelon, by the way.
We found a little place to go have a drink. We sat and chatted for a while, and he says, "Well, I gotta get home to my family, but before I go, hey, you want a watermelon? Here you go."
I forgot that I gave you watermelon.
Classic Kirk story. Well,
Yep.
and Kirk was maybe too humble to tell this story, but he taught Aaron Mankey how to make guacamole.
Oh, I
I
remember
did.
that.
So,
I did.
So it's that was something to watch for sure.
Was that going to be your proudest moment too, Zach?
Oh, that was definitely one of the craziest experiences I've had in podcasting for sure. It was surreal being interviewed by somebody like that, and he gave us shirts and everything, so we ended up being the opening bit for the episode right after. It was pretty incredible experience. But honestly, the thing, like, don't get me wrong, that is an incredible experience that I will always have with me. But I would say the proudest moment as like a podcast is more the types of story like we were talking about with Paul, or with some of these indie pods that we've reached out to, because there has been moments where we find pretty obscure podcasts because there's just so many. So you kind of dig through, and sometimes you'll find one that has character, especially, and it's undiscovered as well. And so you check this out, and you're like, wow, this show is awesome. And we talk about the show, and then we tweet them afterwards. And to me, one of the most rewarding things of the type of podcast we do, especially on the PDS, is that there's a lot of really cool interactions we've had throughout the length of the podcast. I remember the first time that kind of we had that experience, we talked about, I cannot remember the name of the show. I feel like it was that one. There was a show that was literally, you would bring something that was like a weird controversial thing to like the one we talked about, I think, was The Bachelor. And so one of the hosts brought The Bachelor.
Get on my level?
Yeah, Get on My Level. And so everybody would try to convince everybody to like The Bachelor as much as he did. And we tweeted them, and they literally sent us a video of all of the guys in the group like thanking us, and like just it was surreal to be doing our show and having such a good time, but then kind of make an impact with small people who are also out there trying to like make shows that they care about and they're having fun doing. And to have that interaction is probably one of the things that I really appreciate about the podcast.
That is so cool. Very cool. All right, Zach, I'm going to go to you for the next question. If Kirk was stranded on an island and he could only have 3 items, what would they be?
Ooh, I have to guess what Kirk would have on the island.
Yes.
God.
Okay. This is a tough choice. I mean, we already established one, watermelon, tactical watermelon. So I don't know if that would be like, he would maybe like hollow it out and put like a knife in there or like a flare gun, but you have a lot of options with a watermelon. Knowing Kirk, he would have to find a way. I would guess, if this can be one thing, some sort of MP3 player, like his phone and a solar charger, because I think he would be okay. He could listen to audiobooks, and I think he would be all right. The guy would just live his life on an island, listening to podcasts and audiobooks. And then, okay, what's the third one? Oh, this is a tough one. On a desert island. Okay, we'll give him some comfort. He's also he's got to have a hammock so that he can just relax the day away listening to podcasts and audiobooks.
And he won't starve to death because he's got that watermelon.
Yeah, he's got one watermelon. He's good for at least a day.
Kirk, what 3 things would Zach have on a desert island?
What 3 things would Zach? So he'd have a lifetime supply of salad for sure. That guy eats a salad for every meal.
Definitely. That means I'm going to live on this island. I'm going to survive.
And then he's got to have a guitar because he loves just riffing on that guitar, and I think that would help him pass a lot of his time. And I can't think of the third thing. What would be the third thing that Zach would have? A hair tie.
A hair tie. Yeah. No, you're not wrong. It gets hot. You got to tie it up.
All right. Kirk, this next question, I'm going to start with you. You guys listen to a lot of podcasts. You get a lot of podcasts recommended to you. And I don't necessarily want this to be a negative sort of question, but it kind of is. So, don't name any specific podcast or genre if you don't want to. But you're recommended a podcast. please listen to this podcast, and you listen to it and you're like, nope, that's not for me, and you turn it off. What are the things that make you turn a podcast off and never want to listen to it again?
I think my trigger point is I hate it when a podcast is, I mean, it's just me, and I get there's a lot of them, but if it's just 2 or 3 people or more, I listened to one recently that was like 6 people, and they were all just talking about inside jokes and their friends and stuff, and they had no structure. There's no structure. It's just like friends talking about friend things.
Yeah.
And I'm not their friend, so I don't know what they're talking about. and they're just all talking over each other. And it is, I got 2 minutes into that podcast. I'm like, nope, I can't. I'm not going to say bad things about it, and I'm not going to, because people will send us recommendations, or they'll be like, hey, can you listen to my show? And we don't pick shows like that, but we will listen to them. Like, I'll listen to it, and if it fits, then sure, we'll recommend it. But usually I'm like, I'll listen to it, but I won't guarantee that we'll put it on the show. And usually if it's not a good one, I just don't get back to them.
Yeah.
Because I feel bad. I'm not going to be like, yeah, I listened to it. I did not like it. Like, I'm not going to say that. But there's definitely been actually probably more bad ones than good ones that you find.
Yeah, I think a lot of those podcasts are born out of 2 guys at a party, talking smack and telling jokes, and they have good chemistry with one another, and then they're cracking everybody up around them, and people say, you guys ought to have a podcast. And then that just doesn't translate into being entertaining for a larger crowd than whoever's in that house that has already had a few drinks.
Yeah.
And I feel a little bad because we kind of started in that. We had a little bit of a structure, but yes, we definitely were that as well. We had,
and to be fair, we also
concept.
Recognized that about ourselves. We axed that. Like, the other Discovery show came from that. Literally before that, it was called the warm up, and it was exactly that, where we had no clue what we were going to talk about. It was just, we kind of wanted to get talking and get conversational before we started recording, so it wasn't just like, okay, go, action. And so we started doing that, and we're like, hey, we might as well record it. We're doing it anyways. We should not have recorded it. It was terrible. But all we did was we flipped it to expanding the entire idea of Discovery, and it got new legs immediately. So honestly, if that could turn into a tip for anybody out there, adding even slight structure, it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to make it boring, but structure, a direction in general, will make a podcast that's kind of just like wandering and not particularly like driving anywhere. It immediately makes it better.
Sure. And you guys don't really do a lot of inside jokes either.
Yeah, we try not to.
We have a couple, but yeah, no,
we have
in general.
Callbacks, but not like only we know it. You know what I mean? We'll have a callback to, like, right now, Josh in the chat is saying that I would take feet and pickles to the island, which is just an inside joke because we love pickles.
See, okay, it makes perfect sense that Josh said that, because I was like, okay, I won't do it to him. I won't do it to him this time. Like, it has become like fake podcast canon. Definitely the feet thing. And so, like, I was like, you know what? I won't do it. But now he brought it up, so I can say that I did think that when I got asked the desert island question.
What is a pet peeve that you have, Zach?
On podcasts, okay, it's real simple, but honestly, if the audio quality is really, really bad, I can't do it. Like, I'm pretty much gonna turn it off. And it is something that I think that we definitely did. It was the reason that we got these microphones, is because we were using an area mic. It started out with just Josh and Kirk, so it was better. They could put it closer to them. But as soon as we switched to 3 of us, it became an issue. It sounded like we were in a metal garbage can in a hallway. And so it immediately became something where we're like, okay, we got to elevate this. But it is not, the barrier to entry isn't extreme anymore to get a decent microphone and then to just put some post-processing, because I still use Audacity. We used Audacity for a long time. That's a free program. It's the options are out there, so it's definitely one of those things that it's accessible. But for me, if I hear like people clipping and I hear everybody's levels are different and it like sounds like crackly, it's really hard for me to listen through it.
Yeah. And to be fair, there are podcasts where the sound quality is not good at all, but the content can kind of push through that and make up for it.
Oh yeah.
But if you don't have the content and you have poor sound quality, yeah, I totally agree with you. And it, like you say, it just takes a minimal amount of effort. Like, even if you don't want to edit for content and you don't want to edit out the ums and the uhs and the throat clearing and all that kind of stuff, just make it sound halfway decent and make it sound like you care a little bit.
No, it is one of those
Really
things
goes a long way into like listenability.
Yeah, if I hear the bad quality, it immediately starts to put me off of the show. Like, because you can pretty much tell immediately, but as soon as I hear, it's like, they're gonna have to really win me over for me to listen to this.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, you ready for the next question?
Oh yeah.
Who started first last time? Did I go to you? I think I went to you first, Kirk.
Yeah, I think it was Kirk.
me first.
All right, Zach, you're up. All right, your favorite menu item from McDonald's and why?
This is a tough one. I'm gonna go.
Zach hates McDonald's.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of McDonald's, so I'm having to be like, okay, I'm going to McDonald's and I have to eat it. What am I getting?
I was almost going to say any fast food place, but then I said no, it's got to be just specifically McDonald's rules.
It's a great idea because then you force hot takes. So,
Right.
you know what? I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm gonna go. I would get a Big Mac right now because it's just a hamburger. I feel like I don't know. I prefer if I have to eat McDonald's, it's usually breakfast. But other than that, I feel like it's Big Mac is mostly bread anyway, so it's all good.
I love Big Macs. Kirk, how about you?
I don't like anything on the menu, but I have to eat there a lot because I have children. So when I go to McDonald's, which is because I have my children with me, I'm always getting the nugs. I know it's pink slime. I know it's not real chicken. It's all the stuff that they were going to throw away from the other chicken stuff.
Yeah.
But I just close my eyes and eat it, and it's fine.
It's resourcefulness.
I like the fries. McDonald's usually has good fries. Not all the time, but
Honestly,
usually has good fries.
I could go
So,
for a large fry and a Blizzard over like a meal. I could go for that.
Follow-up question: do you dip your fries in the Blizzard?
I have. I don't do it every time.
Okay.
It tastes
I
pretty
do
good though.
not.
It's not bad.
All right. Are we on question 6 already?
I
Holy
have
cow.
no clue, actually. What number are we on?
I think we're on question 6. Goodness gracious. Okay, so Kirk. By the way, I know the answer to this question right away, but it'll be interesting to hear your answers.
Watermelon.
Yeah, it's his answer for everything, honestly.
The movie version of your podcast is going to get made.
Oh, okay.
Who is going to portray you?
Wilmer Valderrama.
I like that. That's good.
How about you, Zach?
I'm trying to figure out if I should flatter myself or not. It's a tough choice. Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe, interesting.
He's a great actor. I appreciate his acting ability.
So if I'm casting this movie, I'm going to cast Jack Black as Kirk.
Oh, nice.
And Matthew McConaughey is going to be Zach.
Nice. You know what? I would watch that movie.
I would too.
I just want to see what Jack Black and McConaughey would be like in the same movie.
I don't know if we can be friends anymore.
Yeah, I guess I do see why you have a different reaction than I did, because I got McConaughey and you got Jack Black.
All right.
Well, guys, thanks. That was 6 questions. That was another edition of Pod 6 on the Podfix Network.
Paul, thank you so much. It was we were thrilled that it was you interviewing us. We're a huge fan of the show.
I'm a huge fan of you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. It was great.
Absolutely. It's going to be your turn now. You get to pick somebody who you want to
Ooh,
you want to talk to.
somebody on the network?
Somebody on the network.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited about that now.
Yeah.
Oh, do we have to? Should we decide right now? Here, let me.
No, you don't have to decide.
Oh, okay.
Now, but It's your turn to be the interviewer. Don't procrastinate for as long as I can. I would like, somebody would remind me, hey, you got to do the Pod 6 thing, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get on it. And I would completely forget about it. Like, it would just leave my brain entirely until somebody would remind me to do it again. And I don't know how it stuck this time, but it finally stuck, and I was like, okay, we're talking to you guys. So yeah, don't do like I did. Get on that real quick.
Oh yeah, no, we'll talk about it next time. Maybe even tomorrow. We're going out to a show tomorrow.
Yep.
Chris will come after you with pitchforks and torches.
Yeah, no, Keith is not afraid to get honest about us being late to everything.
Yeah, which we usually are.
Yeah, no, it's fair. That's not at all a knock on Keith. It's more a knock on us.
No, yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
So wait, don't leave us yet.
Yeah, no, don't leave yet. Now, I was just giving a nice edit point. But yeah, now
Yes.
it is time for Varmints Podcast to give us a recommendation for our 100-ish celebration.
Yay! Happy 100. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm going to give you two. One of them is kind of a little cheater recommendation because they're on the Podfix network already. It's Chris Green and Adam Saunders. They have spun off of the Gravity Beard show, and they're doing This Week Today as its own show, and it's going to be a weekly show. They've done it on the Gravity Beard feed before.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of fun, and it's This Week Today. They tell you what's going on that week. You know, who was born, who died. You know, big things in the news that happened on that day or that week in history, and it's really funny. Adam and Chris are really great together. The main one I wanted to tell you guys about is called Ding.
Ding.
And what this is a comedy songwriting podcast. It's comedy, it's improv, it's songwriting, and basically there's these three people. I don't know their names, I'm really sorry. Two musicians and one comedian singer, and they have a prompt, and based on that prompt they write an entire song, they write the lyrics, and they perform that song. But the journey from that prompt to the final song is what's amazing, and they're really, really funny and really talented. And at the end of it, you hear this full production, this full song that they've written and sang. And it's just amazing, and it's hilarious. It's one of the most unique podcasts I've heard in quite a while.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
It's called Ding?
Ding. D-I-N-G.
I don't see it. I got to find it. I'll do some researching.
Yeah, we can also message him. He's probably knows where it's at. But yeah, Paul, thanks so much. We really appreciate it. We're looking forward to digging into Ding and This Week Today. I've seen that popping up on the feed. I didn't realize that was Gravity Beard spinoff.
Yep, absolutely.
I had listened. That was one of my favorite segments that they would do on the Gravity Beard feed. But yeah, I didn't know that they had done that separately. I'm out of the loop. I kind of stepped back from social media, so I'm kind of out of the loop of everything. So lately, if you see conversations on socials, it's usually Zach on the Twitter in particular.
Yeah, that's good to know because I never know who
Usually it's me before, but now it's been Zach.
I've thought about like putting like a little Z there so people know, but I feel like it's all fine. You're talking to the PDS. It's one of us. We'll tell the other one if it's important.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Paul, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, brother. Take care. We need to catch up sometime if you're in town again.
Yeah, you're not too far away. We got to find a time where you're going to meet your second podcaster from the same podcast.
Absolutely. I would love to do that. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Have a good evening.
Thank you. Have a great night.
All right. Bye.
Right. So I got to do the upload the tracks is what we do.
All right.
Let's unmute
Everybody
ourselves.
on the stream,
ourselves.
we have to do some setup, but we are going to be right back for the recording of the other Discovery show. Stay tuned. And you know what? There's a discussion that I've been wanting to get into, and I think now's the time. I want everybody in chat to tell me how you make the best nachos.
The best nachos.
The best
We
nachos.
will be right back.
BRB. So we can still be heard on Zencaster? Then I will mute.
Alrighty. So I just gotta find.
Hello, everybody. We're back.
Oh, and we cannot. Forget
mid-roll.
our mid-roll.
Oh yeah, you put that in Slack, right?
Because I almost did. Yeah.
And that's mid-roll on both.
No.
Mid-roll
Mid-roll just on
PDS.
PDS.
Okay.
Oh, did you get the invite for the Zencaster?
Oh, let me hop in that.
What's up, guys? We're back. We are back. Let me check all the sounds and stuff.
Yeah, I think I could turn you back up. You were a little louder than Paul, so I was having to mess with the levels a little bit.
Yeah, we're all good.
All right, muted Skype.
I need to do that. Muted. Done. Oh.
Okay. Let me see if we got any Nacho Recipes.
I got Josh to give us one.
What did Josh say?
That's it. Take Doritos, put shredded cheddar on them, and then microwave. That's the fastest nachos. Microwave optional.
So you want non-melted cheddar cheese on Doritos?
Sounds like it.
Seems weird. And what kind of Doritos?
I'm assuming.
Is it the nacho cheese Doritos?
Cheese ones?
You don't need more. You don't need like cold, non-melty cheese on there. No, but like, do you do olives on your nachos?
I don't. I don't if I make it in my home, but I don't make nachos at home very often.
I feel like I want to explore nachos because I feel like you could make them delicious. If you make like a good meat and then you hit it with a bunch of like good toppings, it seems like it'd just be good.
There's that fine line of like really good toppings, but not making it to where they get soggy immediately. You know, there's some things that they go good with nachos, but you better eat them then or they're going to be gross. And you don't want to get to the bottom.
It's not really a problem. Like, just go kill that mountain.
I don't know. You get like a too much salsa or something?
Oh, yeah. No, I feel like it's easier to do like salsa on the side, so you just do like a little dipperoo when you need some.
I do like that completely fake cheese on nachos, the liquid.
The yellow nacho cheese that has never been in a solid form.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Love it.
What is that? I feel like it has to be just oil, just like cheese-flavored oil.
Probably.
I'm going to look that up. This is a bonus discovery for everybody. We're going to find out what that liquid nacho cheese is.
All right, so, well, I feel very disorganized because we didn't have time to like get things ready beforehand.
Yeah,
like
no, we
planned.
having our interview beforehand has definitely put us a little behind. So I hope you'll all forgive us as we kind of scramble a little bit here.
So I'm looking at this week today. I still think it's on Gravity Beard's feed as of right now. So that's the reason I can't find it.
Go to the Twitter. They just put. Actually, I'm on there already. They put it in Podfix. They linked it, and I don't remember where they linked it from.
Because the one I'm looking at, there's This Week Today, Volume 100. Where's the Baby? But that is on the Gravity Beard feed as episode 254. That's a lot of episodes. This is This Week Today. Our new show. Coming soon on Spotify.
Yeah, it's on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher. So you just don't do Spotify, do Stitcher or whatever, Apple Podcasts.
Oh, crap. Now I got to find first episode.
All right.
Dude, they have a lot of followers. They have 15.9 thousand followers. What?
Who?
Wow. This Week Today, their Twitter.
That's a ton.
Good for them.
Yeah, that's a ton. That's great. So, okay, this isn't, I guess, all nacho cheeses, but I Googled nacho cheese ingredients. And one of the things people also ask, what is Taco Bell's nacho cheese made out of? Fair question, honestly. Consulting the Taco Bell website, the ingredients turn out to be in decreasing order of importance. Non-fat milk, cheese whey, canola oil, modified food starch, cheddar cheese, and take note, cheddar cheese is like third from the end, least order of importance. They said that themselves. And it also is not great that, like, well, I guess they're just describing it. So behind cheddar cheese, they have, parenthetically, cultured milk, salt, and enzymes. It's like, yes, that is cheese. Maltodextrin and natural flavors. But not a great sign that they just say natural flavors, but they don't say what they are. So yeah, it's oil. It's canola oil with cheeses in there.
Am I correct to say that, or in my assumption, that when it says natural flavors, it means that this is supposed to taste like something that's natural, which is cheese. This isn't natural, but what it tastes like is natural. Is that what that means? Because I've seen it on a lot of things that I know have, like...
According to the FDA, the term natural flavor or natural flavoring means the essential oil, oleoresin, essence, or extractive, protein hydrolysate, distillate, or any product of roasting, heating, or enzymolysis, which contains the flavoring constituents derived from a spice, fruit, or fruit juice, vegetable, or vegetable juice. So that really, I don't know anymore now.
I don't know what word you just said.
Yeah, I know less now than I did probably before I started reading that.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you might be onto something where they can just say it's a natural flavor.
Because, like, literally, like, gummy bears say natural flavors, but that's not a natural flavor.
Are you sure? You
Gummy bear?
You don't taste gummy bears in nature?
I don't think so. All right, so they have episode 0 that is 5 minutes long so far. So what we're going to do is we're going to recommend the This Week Today on the Gravity Beard feed. It's the last one they had on their Gravity Beard feed.
Yeah, should be fine. Because, I mean, I'm sure it's the
it
same thing. They're going to clean it up. They're going to break it into a separate feed. Should be the same, though.
It's a good show. It's fun. So we're going to do episode 100 of This Week Today, which is on the Gravity Beard feed. Let me type that into the things, the notes. Put Gravity Beers.
So this week, we're talking about a show called The Wolverine. No, it's called Wolverine: The Long Night.
The Long Night.
It's an audio drama, and it's pretty cool. And we're thinking about let's I'll put this to the chat. If we had in our Discord a night each week where we listen with you to the podcast that we're going to be reviewing next week, would that be interesting? Would that be something that you would maybe want to take part in? Is like, so essentially last Tuesday we would have had a night where we get into our Discord and everyone's invited and we all listen to the episode we're about to talk about right now.
Yes. Yeah, I think that would be fun, a thing, and you'd kind of see a little bit more of the backstory of what we're going to... And it'll make you listening to and we're watching the live stream funner too, because you'll be in the loop. You'll know what we're going to talk about.
So he says...
What?
Nothing.
All right. I need to find, because we actually have that poll that we ran in the Podcast Discovery Club, and we did get a lot of answers, so that was good.
Yeah, and hilariously, it's the one that I called would win because you put that in there and you shouldn't have. So maybe
anybody can put whatever they want in there.
Maybe that's my hot take is like cop-out answer.
How do I look at all of it? All right. Yep. All right, I'm ready now. Let me get the Zencaster set up. Hitting the record button right now. I'm going to do PDS first, and then just a really quick break. I don't even think we need to go away. In fact, I have some entertainment for between episodes.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
You'll see.
Will I?
Yep. And so we just need to, don't let me forget about this mid-roll, because I'm going to want to forget about, not want to, but my mind is probably going to easily try to forget about it.
Even if we do, we'll put it in post. Everybody's about to see the magic of podcasting, where you
Let's do it right. I'll do it the right way, because then it's just not as annoying.
It's fine for me.
It is fine for you. Look at the bullets.
Oh, you're talking about for the mid roll? Yeah, it was. Mm-hmm. I'm glad you brought this up, because you were trying to delineate it, right? Like different breaks and who's talking.
Kind of. I mean, we don't need to like say everything word for word. They want us to like make it natural. They were going to give us an ad read. I said I'd prefer it not to be that. So these are just like bullet points to try to hit on. There's a lot of them, to be honest. So it's still going to seem like a lot. But yeah, I'll try to explain what it is, and then at the end, you talk about the last part of them. Maybe like I'll do the first half, and you do the second half.
Okay.
All right. So we'll go with that. Unfortunately, when I copied and pasted it in there onto the Slack, it kind of just bunched it together rather than having it spread out.
Yeah, I hope everybody's ready for potentially a couple takes of an ad in the middle of this. But
hey, we got to make the money.
You're seeing how we make sausage.
Sausage sounds like a good topping for nachos.
That would be delicious.
Dang it, now I want nachos. I want nachos real bad.
Honestly, that instead of nachos makes me want biscuits and gravy.
Nah, I want nachos.
I could go for nachos. Or biscuits and gravy.
Both. Why pick? You can have both.
I would eat that. I feel like your stomach would be messed up, but I would eat it.
All right, let's jump into this thing. Welcome to the Podcast Discovery Show, the podcast that's about other podcasts, where every single week we have a deep dive discussion about a podcast we recommended last week. And at the end of this episode, we're going to recommend a new show, and we'll talk about that one next week. I'm Kirk.
And I am Zach. And this week, we're starting the first of our bonus recommendations for our 100-ish celebration, and it's from Keith at Pop-Up Filmcast. We love the show. We've covered their show, and he's a great guy. So if you're interested in some great improv
movie correspondent,
fun, yeah, he's a great guy. It's a great show. And he recommended Wolverine, The Long Night. And we did the first 2 episodes is what we kind of locked in on.
So I really miss doing narrative podcasts. But with that said, it is really hard to get discussion points off of a narrative podcast.
Yeah. No, it is.
We're going to squeeze every bit of discussion we can out of it because it's great. It is good. And actually, I liked season 2 even better, which is the something about the Lost Trail or something like that. He's in Louisiana, and it's different, but it's still real good. But it's a good story. It does. I feel like it did take a little bit to kind of like ramp up.
That's usually a good story though, and especially because I feel like you can tell. Okay, first 2 episodes you can tell that it's a slow burn. You know, it's more set up like. It honestly reminded me of like the setup of like a True Detective, where you're like, oh, there's whispers of things happening, and like they set an ambiance of like stuff's happening, and then you obviously. I feel like that has to be one of the most recognizable superheroes. Wolverine, like. That's a pretty popular one in general pop culture.
Yeah.
And so, like, when they're like, oh, his claws, it's not like, I mean, I guess there's some people that are surprised by that. There's maybe some people that aren't like, because I'm nerdy, it's fine. But, like, it wasn't doing anything there, but literally there wasn't like a Wolverine, like, fight scene in the first 2 episodes. So they really did focus on the narrative of the thing. They wanted it to be a good story, an effective story.
Yeah, and the first season is centered in Alaska, and he was basically running from this organization that's trying to find him. I forget the name of the organization, but it's the ones that made him, essentially. And so they've got people chasing him down because he's a weapon that they've made. And I'm a nerd, but not good enough of a nerd to remember all of the lore.
Is it Google?
Yes, Google made him as a weapon. But so he's in Alaska, and so he was trying to lay low and stay away and not be found. But they're hot on his trail, and that's where the story begins, because people are starting to be killed in Alaska, and they're at first saying that it's bears, but
we all know it's not bears.
So Wolverine was always one of my favorite superheroes, and I think that he's always been so conflicted. You know, he's like not a good guy. He's got these powers and stuff like that, and he was not scared to like cross the line, and he kills so many people in all the comic books.
Yeah,
they are intense. I remember when I used to go on hunting trips with my dad in Alabama, and that's what I would get. I would get comic books at the gas station, and I remember getting a trade of Wolverine. So I just read all of these Wolverine comics, and it was great. I loved it. So that's kind of this fond memory that I have of Wolverine and learning about him through comic books.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, he is a very violent character, and yeah, he's not really wanting to be like a superhero. So it's kind of an anti-hero type thing. He ends up doing the right thing for the most part, typically. But I feel like the movie Logan is the closest to like comic book Wolverine that we ever saw in like the universe. I think Hugh Jackman was great at it, but like they kind of, I don't know, they took away a little bit of that gray area that Wolverine lived in. But Logan is a great movie, so if you're at all interested in Wolverine and you don't like the weird movie where he was fighting Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool the first time when he couldn't talk, and it's like, okay, this is weird, then Logan's a great one to check out. That's maybe my favorite comic book movie that has been made.
Yeah, no, that is a good one, and it's intense. So like, it's not like a Marvel movie that you go watch with your kids. It's an intense movie.
Yeah, you should not take your kids to that probably.
But it's very well made. It's heart-wrenching. It's good. It's just good.
Yeah, it's great.
So we asked in our podcast Discovery Club what everybody's favorite superhero is.
All right, let's get into it. I'm going to look like a jerk, but I'm right. So
I'm going to start from the least favorite all the way. And there was some that people didn't pick at all. So Vlado, I let people vote for more than one because, you know, you can have more than one that you really like. So Vlado voted for Deadpool and The Flash. I don't know anything about The Flash.
Ooh, honestly, I got into The Flash because of comic books. There was
Really?
one. See, like how Twigs is saying, my mom. She's not even in our Facebook group. She came up with that joke all on her own. She's not in the Facebook group, right?
I think she is. I don't
Oh,
know.
maybe she is. I don't know.
I invited her. I don't know if she accepted it
Oh,
or
okay.
not. And then I did put, and this is what Zach's saying, is I put your mom and your dad separately. So,
That's not what we're talking about. And I'd like to point out that mom got 1 billion votes and dad got what?
one, it's me.
It's you. So, and that is not the point. Everyone, be nice to your parents. Appreciate your parents. I firmly support that. But we're not talking about parents. We're talking about fictional superheroes, and your mom is not one. Although I do love that he framed it as your mom, so people didn't know if he was saying your mom. Like, it's everybody's voting for Kirk's mom is what I'm getting. It's like everybody's like,
Well,
your
if
mom
I
is
put
my
mom-
superhero.
What? Dang it.
Homelander. We just got in chat that Homelander is one of his favorites. Is Josh's favorite.
Gosh.
Homelander is the worst, but an amazing character. It's that weird thing of like a lot of times villains are more
He's a
well
great
developed. They're more well developed because
Mm-hmm.
think about like, I guess I'm trying to think of somebody that's kind of just like meh as like a hero. I feel like that's kind of the thing with Flash and like the TV shows and like kind of what they've done with it in like the movie universe. The comic book ones is more interesting, but it's kind of just like, oh, I run fast, and he doesn't really have any like demons that are like he's dealing with or anything like that. Homelander is clearly a psychopath. It's fascinating to watch this guy be insane and be a superhero at the same time. It's literally if Superman was the devil. And it's like, yeah, that's great to watch. There's always something great about the villain that's well defined.
So Keith voted Batman. That's the only vote for Batman.
Batman's great.
Roger, my cousin, voted Iron Man. Iron Man is very up there on mine, specifically on the movies. Like they made such a good job. They did such a good job casting and stuff with Iron Man. So I don't know anything about the comics, so I didn't pick that one. Wolverine was the next one, and I picked Wolverine. I'm the only one that picked Wolverine, and we're talking about Wolverine this week. Zach, you picked the Hulk along with Keith and along with Luke. So the Hulk got some love. He got third place. Spider-Man came in second place with 4 votes, and then in first place, your mom.
Kirk's mom. Kirk's mom won the whole thing.
My mom's the MVP.
MVP of this whole poll is Kirk's mom.
God, what is happening?
Josh is testing our Twitch bot right now, but joke's on you. We had to approve that already because of you. I think Twigs let it through.
Oh man.
So
the fun of the live stream. If you're not on the live stream, you need to be part of it. It's fun.
And I
now you
mean,
get to see Josh get censored by the bot and then have to get
yeah,
allowed to say the things
like
that he says.
literally our bot like log right now is like allowed butthole. Allowed. What was the other one? He said something ridiculous. I can't remember what it was. I'll have to look at it later. But it's literally just filled with things that Josh is saying that are typically anatomy based that are having to be approved by mods for the Twitch channel.
So back to the actual podcast. The sound, of course, the sound quality and everything is amazing. It's very well produced. The voiceover is amazing, and they actually have some pretty famous people on there.
Yeah, no, definitely. Scott Adsit was on 30 Rock. Thorin Oakenshield is Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
They have.
He's got that good voice, man. He's got that like deep gravelly voice.
Yeah, isn't he like from the UK too? Like he's got a really good American accent. Yeah, he's definitely British. But yeah, they have a really great cast. It does sound amazing. That is one of the things you're kind of looking for when you're listening to something like this. Is it puts more atmosphere on it. That's one of the things that I feel like this show did very well. Is they did the little things very, very well. You hear like when they're on the boat, you hear like the ocean, you hear people like talking in the background. It sounds great. Honestly, the production quality is incredible on it. And honestly, if you like narrative podcasts, you should definitely check this out. And definitely, if you like comic books too, 100% go listen to this show. It's a really fun listen. It's more just like, it's hard. We don't want to go through point by point of every arc of the episode, but in the end, it's a fantastic show.
No, it really is. It's very well made, and it does go from season 1 into season 2. And I will tell you from experience, because I've listened to both seasons, that season 2 is very good. So it's definitely worth. I think season 2, in my opinion, is better than season 1. It gets, at least action-wise, it's definitely a lot more action.
So then that's another bonus. It doesn't do terrible season 2. It's even better. You get to go check it out. So all of this comic book stuff got me thinking. We literally watched what?
Oh, I thought you were still thinking about nachos. I'm still thinking about nachos.
I mean, I could go for some nachos. Like, I could. No, but basically, I remember when we were like kids, so when you would have gotten that Wolverine comic, or when we were getting comics as kids, it was kind of like a fringe thing. It wasn't like everybody's getting comics. Everybody knows who Iron Man is, all of this stuff. And then we saw where now they do. If you say who is Iron Man, they'd be like, oh, Robert Downey Jr. I've seen it. Like they're very familiar with who these characters are. And so I wanted to kind of dig into how this all kind of like happened, because I also remember there was like a transition period where essentially you had goofy, weird, corny stuff from, I think they were doing stuff in like the 70s and the 80s. They were doing weird Marvel comic movies, but they were kind of like odd. There was a weird Fantastic Four in there. I mean, the Superman movies were probably the most famous, aside from Batman.
Man, I grew up on this. I remember the Superman movies being awesome to me as a kid, but looking back, they're so cheesy. But I loved them because they were fairly serious for a superhero movie. That was like one of the first ones that wasn't like a comedy.
No, and Christopher Reeve kind of nailed that. He was a great Superman. So like, you kind of get that era, and then in between that, you have kind of like transition type movies. So there was the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. The first two absolutely blew up, and they were owned by Sony. It was a whole thing. That's why there was like the Spider-Man Homecoming thing, is because Sony owned the rights to Spider-Man specifically from a long time ago. I think those were like mid 2000, like 2000 decade, where it's just like they would just put these things out. And
that's why he wasn't allowed to be in the Avengers for a while as well.
Yeah, because he is an Avenger.
He is an Avenger, but they couldn't have him in there for a long time because Sony still had him. They're like, nope, give us a ridiculous amount of money and we'll let you have him. But
I think they got it.
Eventually they did.
No, but I will also say that I think that what they're doing right now is the best version of how Spider-Man is in like the comic books, because he's kind of like goofy all the time. I like the first two of the old movies, the Sam Raimi ones. They're good, but I feel like this is the best version. But then the weird one to me, and Batman movies were pretty good. They were weird because Tim Burton was doing it, so
they
it was
were
odd.
Not good in my opinion.
No, the first one was pretty good.
Even as a kid, I was like, these are weird.
First one was pretty good.
I don't know if I like this or not.
Yeah, I don't know. It was odd. They got good with Christopher Nolan was when that happened. But those are still the best DC movies that have ever been made, in my opinion. But then you had The Punisher. Have you seen that movie? The Thomas Jane, John Travolta Punisher that's shot in Tampa?
Yes.
That movie, I think, would do better now than it did then. Mm-hmm. Because it was
I agree with you. Every time I go ride bikes in Tampa, I'm like, hey, Jenny, that's where they shot the Punisher. She's like, you tell me that every single time. Because we go past that bridge. Like, there's a big scene right there.
It had a great cast. It was really dark for a Marvel movie at the time. They just kind of went with it. But then Disney stood loose. And I can't tell, I don't know the exact timeline on how this all worked. But Iron Man, which was what I would say was kind of the launch of everything that Marvel is now.
Mm-hmm.
But that was 2008. And I think Disney bought them
Jeez.
afterwards. So, like, I don't know if it was, like, which one was first. But Iron Man was out, and then they started this whole, like, current Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it's just completely different now. It's completely different now, and everybody is... It's weird to watch kind of things that were nerdy become less nerdy.
And I don't know where we're at now, to be honest, because there was a time, I would say, in the last 2 years where it felt like we got oversaturation with superhero movies, TV shows.
I definitely am oversaturated.
Cartoons.
No, that's why people love The Boys. It subverts all of it.
And I think that they have backed off on that because they were putting out too much stuff. I mean, it was still being successful by most metrics, but for how much effort, it was burning everybody out. Same thing with Star Wars. I mean, I will say Disney has a tendency to beat a dead horse a little bit too much, where you got to give some breaks somewhere so that people are ready for it again. And I don't think we were, because we had all these TV shows that kind of failed and stuff like that. But I don't know. I feel like we're getting back to the sweet spot, but that could be because we have no movies anymore.
Yeah. Okay. That is why Keith recommended this, and it's weird. There has not been a movie that has been released in, are we at like almost 6 months now? Like, they're major movies.
That kind of blows my mind. I think you're probably right.
We missed the summer blockbusters. We missed the entire summer. No major studio excreted a terrible CGI movie this summer. Didn't happen. It's a weird time, and like honestly, I'm a little concerned about, can movie theaters survive it? I think that it's going to be challenging for some of them to get through it. I think indie movie theaters are going to get wrecked. But
yeah,
in the end, I hope it comes back. I miss movies, but I wonder if people are going to start switching to like trying to find some way to like live stream plus, so not like straight to Disney Plus doesn't really make them money. I guess you could get people that sign up just for that.
Did you see what they're doing with this new live-action Mulan? Which I'm not gonna lie, it looked amazing.
They're putting it on Disney Plus, right?
They're putting it on Disney Plus, but you've got to pay $30 for it.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like, can they find some other way to monetize?
How this works? Like, I'm wondering if enough people are gonna do. Like, I want to watch it, but $30 seems like a lot of money.
I'll wait until it's not $30 to watch on the same TV I'm gonna watch when it's not $30.
That's the thing. Is like, if I'm gonna spend $30 for my whole family to go watch a movie, which is probably just me and my wife, if it's $30, but because it is expensive.
It's just on your TV. Oh no, you're talking about if you're going out.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, your kids can watch it. It's on your TV.
So I'm going for the experience. So it's like, I get it that it's like it's still a little bit cheaper if you have a whole family and there's more people watching it,
and you're not paying like gold bullion price for popcorn. You can just make it at home, Jiffy Pop.
But it's the whole experience of being at a theater.
Yeah.
There is something about, even though you're not talking to other people in the theater, there's that communal feeling. You got this, like, especially if it's like an exciting new movie, like let's say a new Star Wars movie or an Avengers movie, and you go on opening night. There's something special about that. It's hard to explain. It's just other people around you that are being quiet in the same room as you, but there's like, you can feel it. There's like excitement. And you definitely can't get that in your living room.
You can. You have to commit to
playing
it.
on your iPads. You
have to make them get off the iPad. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. Like, there's a lot of movies that I pass on until watching on the TV. I feel like there's a lot of movies that you're not missing a whole lot by not getting the movie theater experience. I do think the movie theater is an experience that's worth doing for a lot of movies. Mulan, the original one, is amazing. I would probably wait for it to be on streaming services for this, so I probably would not want to pay $30 for it. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to pay $30 for it.
I mean, honestly, if you wait it out It's going to be on the exact same platform minus the $30.
Yeah, Josh makes a good point in the chat. He says VR will destroy movie theaters experience once the tech gets mature enough, and I agree with that. I mean, that could be.
Yeah, sure.
I can visualize the first VR movie is just gonna blow people's minds.
Yeah, and
just like
it will.
Avatar did with 3D. It was mind blowing, and then 3D got ridiculous, and everything had to come out in 3D for a while.
And then it failed because why? It doesn't really. It did not add anything to me. Like, sure, okay, I see it, but it's not like, oh, I need this movie to be in 3D.
I did like in 3D how they pivoted from the tropes of just stuff coming out at your face and scaring you to just making it look prettier and with more depth. I do like that.
It's a smart decision because that's real stupid. I've ridden the Terminator ride at Universal Studios before. I'm good. I've figured that out.
Yeah. So that brings us to this week's ad. This week's episode is brought to you by Made to Order Podcast. So, what is Made to Order Podcast? I had to look into it myself because it sounds like such a special, different. It's what is it? And it's literally a podcast made to order for different events. They literally will make a podcast for you, a podcast episode. It's not like it's going to go on Apple or something like that. They're making you an audio file specifically for you for your special events. They work with you to learn the story and craft a one-of-a-kind script, and then they produce a professionally narrated, with music and everything, high-quality MP3 file for you. I went on their website and looked into it a good bit. They do like weddings and birthdays and a bunch of other stuff, and it's really neat. And especially during this time of like COVID and people not being able to be around each other, I can see how it's something that could be really special to help, I guess, get everybody in on the same page with a wedding if you can't be there, or a birthday.
Yeah, no, it's a really fun way to do something kind of interesting for friends, family members, anything else. You can include your favorite memories, inside jokes, and funny stories. And then you also get, when you purchase one of these, 2 podcast-style advertisements based on your interests, hobbies, or funny stories. So they're going to even go the next step, and they're going to make sure that it seems like a real podcast, but the whole thing is goofy. So while we're all separated, it's a fun way to reach out and kind of interact with people in a different way. So visit madetoorderpodcast.com to get started creating your own personalized podcast today.
And thank you guys so much for sponsoring the show this week. Really appreciate it.
Okay, can we take a break? Because there's some guy named Ben Dover that just keeps saying these nuts.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I was wondering what you were laughing at. I'm like, I don't see anything going on.
It's distracting me so bad. Ben Dover, get out of here. Stop doing that.
I don't even know how to mod on YouTube yet.
I have no clue, but it's just hilarious.
Oh, man.
No, but I wanted to get through that ad because we were like mostly through the ad read. And I just keep saying, these nuts. You like these nuts. It's like, okay, man, just chill out.
All right, how do we...
All right, let's look around on here.
Man. Potentially inappropriate message.
You think? You think, YouTube? No, that's good because I don't even see the comments on here. So
I just press hide. You can hide them. I don't know how to moderate, though. I'm going to have to learn. Hey, Bendova, how do I get you out of here? Go away. You can still watch. I'm just going to have to keep hiding everything.
No, I honestly don't even really care if he does that. We're going to have to delete the things afterwards so random people don't see these nuts 40 times in the chat. But other than that, like, I don't care. He can say that all he wants. All right, so that mid-roll is real towards the end of this.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Do you think that you can, like, stick it somewhere in the actual middle? Was there any kind of natural pauses? Maybe like before the poll.
Yeah, I can do that. Sorry, I'm still trying to.
Still messing with Bend Over.
Yes.
And that's the best part. His name is freaking Bend Over. I feel like I'm in 7th grade again.
I'm going to put user in timeout. I don't know what that means. He's been timed out for 300 seconds.
It's like, you're on timeout, Bend Over.
I expect this from Josh.
And what? Now you're leaving? So Kirk just wandered off. There he is.
Now, Leah came in here. She stood next to me, left the door open. That's 5 minutes. What's 5 minutes? Oh, 300 seconds? That's what it said. It said 300 seconds. I didn't just make that up.
Okay. So what I'm basically what I'm thinking is we've kind of like had like a full. How long are we at on this episode already?
No, we're pretty good. 30 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, we'll have to cut us talking about Bend Over, but other than that, we could just stick that ad somewhere in the middle. Knocked. So should we just? We can tell chat what the recommendation is. If you want to, you can edit in Paul's. If not, it's fine. You know what I mean?
I can't do it here right now.
No, not right now. I'm talking about in editing, in post,
yeah.
like Wednesday.
Yeah, no, I'm going to. Let's tee it up. Like, do your thing with, like, the 100-ish episodes and stuff like that.
Okay. So, continuing. I'm going to try that again. So, continuing our 100-ish episode celebration, we have Paul from the Varmints Podcast. He gave us a recommendation today right after talking to us for the Podfix Interview series they're doing. And he gave us not one but two really fun recommendations, and bonus recommendation, Varmints Podcast is great. I have never listened to an episode and not enjoyed it. It's a great show. So if you like learning about animals, check out Varmints. But then Paul also told us to check out 2 different shows, and I think Kirk has already queued up the episodes we're going to do.
So he does mention the shows, so I guess I'm going to have to come back in and say specifically what episodes of those shows, because he didn't say episode numbers. Oh, shoot. What was the... Oh, I have it on here. Ding. So, yeah, thank you, Paul, so much for your recommendations. We have Ding and the Gravity Beard this week today. So the episode of Ding that we're going to recommend is Season 1, Episode 8, Just Bag It. And then for this week today, we're going to recommend the one that's still on the Gravity Beard feed. It's Gravity Beard 254, this week today, Episode 100. Where's the baby?
Where's the baby? That's always a good sign that that's what it's called. Well, yeah, thank you so much, Paul. We really appreciate getting bonus recommendations here, and yeah, we're really looking forward to it. So, thanks everybody for listening, and remember,
there's always more to discover. All right. That guy got off the rails near the end. Freaking Bend Over
derailed us.
He derailed it, man. Come on, that's not cool.
No, it was pretty funny actually. But the problem is we were right in the middle of the ad read. I was like, come on, man. Other than like this one time, I would have just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Kirk has some kind of weird thing he's going to do for you.
I don't have a weird thing I'm going to do for them. I just had some entertainment while we talk about some stuff. I found some really old pictures to show, and it's funny. Of us in high school. And we can tell little stories about it.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, I need to take a bio. Should I do that before or after the photo collage?
Let's take a 3-minute BRB screen. We just can't leave it up for so long. We lose everybody. We were gone for like 10 minutes before.
I don't even have to put up the BRB screen. I could just leave it so that there's empty chairs.
I just wish we could play music, but we can't because of stinking Facebook.
Not yet.
Yeah, working on that.
We got some things in the works that might happen and might be amazing. So do you want me to leave this up? So like if you come back, you can talk to people, start showing them pictures?
Sure. I'm going to do the same thing. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm just going to grab another bevy and I'll be right back. And bathroom.
I'm back. Let me see if you can hear it or not. Okay, you can. Okay. Last time I talked for a long time with Zach not here, and you couldn't hear anything. Oh, see, bend over left. Bend over left. Because he couldn't troll us anymore. Oh, man. And welcome to YouTube. But, yeah, so I have a lot of pictures from high school. A lot of them are really ridiculous, boring pictures because, long story short, I didn't like, I think it was chemistry class. I didn't like the teacher, didn't like the class. And it happened to be at the same period as yearbook. So I did everything that I could to get on the yearbook staff or whatever to take pictures for the yearbook. So I ended up getting a camera and I took horrible. I was not good at taking pictures. I just really wasn't. I have all these pictures and they're just really bad. They're a little bit out of focus, but it was a good camera, so they let me be on the yearbook team. Yes, it was that teacher. We had a few teachers that were not great, and that was one of them. Didn't learn very much, and it was obnoxious. It was like they didn't teach you anything, but you had to get everything right on the tests. That kind of teaching, I didn't like it. But so I've got all these pictures. By the way, I ended up getting into yearbook, and then it was the last period of the day, and so once like halfway through the year, the yearbook's basically done because you have to like send it into print. But yet we still had yearbook class, and so I would like either leave school early or I would sneak to the coach's office because he was cool with it, and I'd go sleep under his desk. I'd just go to sleep while he was coaching in the gym. And yeah, I was a slacker my senior year for sure. But I've got some great pictures here, and I'm gonna save this one for last. So this one is just a picture of me and my wife at the time, or well, my wife at the time, my wife now, but back in high school days. See, this isn't even high school. This is college. Yep. It's hard to show pictures on here. I kind of thought that might be an issue. I kind of get real white. I want to tell a picture, but I want to tell a story of this one. I'm going to wait till Zach gets back to talk about it. This is just a picture of me with hair when I used to have hair. I had hair for a little bit. Not for a super long time, and I grew it out. I can't grow that hair out anymore because if I did, it would be mostly white. It's still there. It's just, it's all white. All white hairs. Actually, cut my hair today, actually. Because if I don't cut it quickly enough, then it becomes more difficult to cut by myself. Here's a great picture of Zach on my computer in the office of our old house. Now, he's really hard to see because... Here, I'm going to do this real quick. This is going to help. There we go. That is Zachy. On my computer, what was he doing? Probably on AIM. That guy was always on AIM, talking to all the girls at the same time. What is Smosh? Dude from Smosh. This is me and one of my teachers, Miss Rusin. She's still a teacher there. She's going to be teaching my daughter next year, which is really weird. And it is weird because I went to my daughter's entering middle school. She blows my mind. I went to the middle school thing where they introduce the teachers and stuff. And 3 of the teachers talked about me in front of all the other parents, and I hated it. They're like, "Oh, I used to teach a kid and that's a parent now," and I hated it. It was very uncomfortable. But yeah, I got married young, had kids very soon after getting married, and so we were definitely like some of the youngest parents. And did Zach eat chili today and have to take the biggest dump ever? What is going on? I think I hear noises. I think I hear Zach noises.
All right, let's see him.
Yeah, I hear the Zach noises. He's back. I was like, did you take the biggest dump ever? Or
Maybe.
just making the most largest drink ever?
Both. Why not both?
Why not both? So a lot of these are from when I was doing your book. So Zach, since you're back, let's tell the story of this one. Do you remember this?
Is that when we put his car on a trailer?
That is our
We stole the
history
Toyota
teacher's
Turkle?
car. Yeah. Hey, that was a pretty good harmless prank, man. It was pretty good. We'd already forked his house before. And what we did is we had this stupid pep rally thing. We'd have a parade. And instead of going all out and making a float, we stole our teacher's car, put it on a trailer, and then made it look like it was in his yard, and we had forked his yard all around his car. And he didn't know that we'd stolen his car. So that was the fun part of the parade that we did. Here's a picture of me and Zach. I think we're playing a game at a pep rally. So that's me. That's Zach. He's got a really funny smile. He's very excited.
I do have an idiot face.
Super skinny me. This is another picture of Zach.
I don't.
Looks like a baby. He's a little baby. Zach again with some other peoples that we know. Phil's been on the show before.
Was that Matt Carlson?
Nope,
And then
that
Haley
is
and
Jared.
Rachel?
That is Jared.
Oh, it's
Buchanan.
Jared?
Yep. He listens to the show or has listened to the show. And The Pinnacle. I already talked about some of the other ones, so I just found these today while putting something again. This is our good friend in the chat, Josh. And I'm sure
Got
he
him.
knew this and was coming.
Got him.
This is during the same parade. He was the moo cow.
That was the cow outfit he got for his baptism, actually.
It's his baptism. Oh, that sounds like a great church to go to.
Yeah, but basically, there's a lot of ridiculous pictures of us out there.
I have lots more, but I didn't want to bring all of them.
Yeah, I get
I
that.
just figured it'd be fun to talk about for a minute or two.
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about the order because we have a lot of things to talk about.
Yeah, so you
We
wanted
have
to
a
do
few things
Vlados,
to talk
right?
about. Yes, I will. I gotta find it again, but yes, I want to do.
Okay,
Vlados.
do Vlado. I will do Darren Olian / Keith's recommendation from last week.
Mm-hmm. All right, Zach. What is that name of the show? Down to Earth?
Down to Earth, yeah. So that one's kind of like a multi-parter, too.
Yeah, that's probably going to be our main discussion, probably because there's multiple things to talk about on that discussion. Let me see if I saved any other ones. Anybody in the chat got any good discoveries recently? What are my saved ones? A lot of the things that I have in here are mainly things that'll be perfect for today. I learned. Oh, you know what? I think I'll talk about this one. All right, yeah. What is your last one, Zach?
Do we want another discussion topic?
Let's put one in here and let's see how long we're going, and then if
bonus?
not, we'll.
All right, let's go salads.
I'm gonna turn into a salad.
I hope so.
And the name of the band?
Salad.
What?
I'm lying. Let's do Adam Randall. Because I talked to him about his new album, and I want to just bring some more people to check it out.
Do you have a song?
Let us do. I was gonna listen to some and pick one, but I then realized that it would go through to the stream, and I think we might get a takedownies.
Possible.
Let's do Two Man Con.
Two Man Con. Gotcha. All right. I think we're good then. Let's throw the new recording onto the Zencaster. Yeah, it doesn't make
Check.
You have to
Check.
accept something, right?
My levels seem low. Oh no, they're all right.
Okay. So Yeah, we're good. I'm gonna start with Vlados, and then
Darren Oyen.
Yep. So we'll go from there.
Okay.
All right, let me hit the record button. Welcome to the Other Discovery Show, the bonus show from the Podcast Discovery Show. That's not about podcasts. It's about all of the other things that we've discovered throughout the week. I'm Kirk.
And I am Zach.
And I have a discovery that was brought to us by our friend over at It's Not Rocket Surgery, Vlado. He tagged us in this, and he also tagged, I believe, another very famous podcast. So it was kind of funny to be in the same category.
Oh, I fully appreciate that we were in the same tags as 99% Invisible. I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, we're the same league, right? Right?
Yeah, so
Can
it's
we
like,
be? Please?
Either it's like 99% Invisible, you need to do a show about this, or PDS, you need to do a Todd's discovery about this. I'm like, okay, yeah, I think we can do that.
He might have gotten the worst of the two options.
Well, there's one that probably doesn't do near as much research beforehand.
No, but we do
probably
really
takes,
we really appreciate like the shout out and like
yeah,
also super interesting.
It is. So it's about Ukrainian embroidery, which at face value sounds super boring. But there's basically like a hidden language and words and numbers in this embroidery. And there's like this whole deciphering system to be able to find out what this old lady's crochet means. So there's this whole article, and I'm gonna link the article in chat, and also it'll be in the show notes for the Podcast Discovery Show. Why I'm just talking to fill space, and I need to write an edit now. Dang it!
Yeah, because you pointed it out.
I know. So in 2008, the world saw the first of its kind book about the letter decoding of embroidered symbols on clothing and household items in the Ukraine. Like there's like this whole type of embroidery that's just full of secret messages. A lot of times it's like coat of arms or type of like the first and last name of a family member, numbers, days of the week, but there's all these different things that mean something else. It's weird because there's this essentially a cipher that helps you to be able to figure out what these things mean. Each word represents a flower, which has the first letter in the center and 4 petals that comes from the center and kind of strung the letter in the words. I'm reading things, and dang it, I should have read this more in depth before I started talking about it.
Did you see why this started? Was it something to like preserve a history, to like make a legacy in whatever they're creating, or was it like a necessity thing? Because I also wonder if there was cultures who hid things out of necessity, so there was restrictions on what they could say or whatever else, and so they hid things because they had to.
Yeah, I'm reading.
All right, so everybody, this is going to be an edit.
Yeah, I already wrote down the edit,
Yeah,
but yes,
so
I'm reading it right now.
This is just how it goes sometimes, because some of these articles are very complex, and it's hard to distill down into a quick kind of like path. And so sometimes we have to reread. But this is why we're live streaming, so that everyone else can enjoy this process with us. Thank you. I'll say this while everybody's just kind of, we're waiting. Thanks so much for checking out the stream. We really appreciate it. We really appreciate it. We appreciate anybody that's spending a little time with us. We hope that over time you will feel comfortable sharing anything you've discovered throughout the week. We basically just wanted to set up somewhere where people could discover stuff and share cool things that they've found throughout the week. You know, that's one of our things that we've always appreciated is learning new things, or finding new podcasts, or finding new music, or finding new movies. Really just trying to go out there and find new stuff, because there's so many things out there right now in general that we just like discovering new ones. And we love to hear from anybody in the chat, anybody that's listening, what they've discovered too. It's always fun to hear kind of that next step away.
Yeah, so I didn't think I saw anything in the article about like a reason to hide things. So, and there isn't. So
could just be maintaining legacy.
Yeah. So this author really dug deep into trying to find a way to decode this, because he had a passion for trying to decode and preserve the history and culture of the Carpathians. And it says that encryption looks like a modern QR code. Each symbol hides a letter and a number that together create a unique charm pattern. Thereby, anyone can use such an embroidered alphabet and convey a message via ornaments. And all who learn how to use such an alphabet will gain a new level of knowledge of the Ukrainian language. And they've got this whole cipher on here. So like they'll have the A, and it looks like just like an arrow, but that's what stands for A. It's just really neat. They even have full words, and like this just looks like a flower, but it means something. Winter, it has a specific symbol. There's a symbol for each month. For numbers, they show a symbol on here for like mama or father, which is tato, and it's really neat. It's really crazy. It's a great discovery.
He even posted over, I think he made his name out of the cipher, and he sent us a picture of that. So yeah, Vlado, thanks for the discovery. We're going to post all this stuff in the show notes, because did he post one that he kind of went down this rabbit trail? I think it was his, where it was about a Norwegian soccer team making their new logo. And then from that, he saw that like iconography and like hidden meaning within something.
That may have been the same thing, because I remember him, because the logo was very similar to our first logo that we had.
Really?
Yeah, he called it out for us. He tagged us in that as well, because it had the anchor and everything. It looked just like the anchor, the first anchor that Twigs made for us.
But yeah, we really appreciate the discovery. We'll have everything in the show notes. Definitely check it out. It's really awesome how they were able to put language inside of design. So another one from the group. So huge shout out to the Podcast Discovery Club and everybody that's been sending discoveries our way. You've nailed it this week, because Keith from Pop-Up Filmcast and frequent contributor on the Podcast Discovery Club told us, hey, you should watch episode 1 of a show called Down to Earth. It's perfect for the other Discovery show. And I told Kirk, I was like, I've seen this when we're eating lunch. A lot of times we'll watch Netflix, and I've seen the trailer, and it's Zac Efron saying, how do you say let's go? Como se dice let's go? Or what, you know what I mean? Like, it's the most jabroni part of the entire show is the thing that they show over, like, literally I saw it 20 times, because it's the first thing you see on like the auto playing trailer on Netflix. But we watched this show, and let me just tell you, it's a pretty great show.
Yeah, we didn't even watch one episode. We watched the whole series together.
Yeah,
during,
we watched all of it.
A few days,
including the other guy we work with too. We all just leaned in. We watched it all, and it's a pretty great show. You have Zac Efron and someone named Darren Olean, and they are traveling around the world, looking at how different countries are doing things in a way that is sustainable. Is maybe a way to put it. So the first episode, they go to Iceland, and Josh, you might have some insight here on if you saw any of this stuff. But they go to Iceland, and they start, and I think this is the part that he was focusing on, that I think he thought would be a cool thing for us to talk about. They generate energy in Iceland from literally drilling huge wells. Like, I think they said like a mile deep, right?
Yeah, it was nuts.
They vent it down into like ridiculously deep. And what they do is they let that steam build up and shoot through the pipe. And then that turns a turbine, and they're literally using the heat of the earth to power cities.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, there's crazy synergy with other companies working with the power company to do anything that would be essentially excess or waste from this power company is being used. So they have it's not a hot spring. What did they call it? A mineral spring, a mineral pool. I can't remember. But it's this crazy looking water that the salt and mineral content is so high that it literally looks like milk. It's like cloudy, the whole thing. And it's like a hot spring because it's like venting out all this geothermal heat and doing everything like that. And they have figured out that it's like a cure for psoriasis. So literally, if you have psoriasis, you go there. And it's literally just extra from the power company. They have taken all of their CO2 and they found some way. They dug another well and they shoot it into the earth and it like crystallizes. And
it makes
stays.
rocks, basically. It makes a rock. So they're in it. It's nuts.
They're like, no, we're putting that back in there, and they do somehow. But from this, both me and Kirk, as we're watching this, first of all, neither of us are a huge fan of Zac Efron, and that's just like, I haven't seen High School Musical. I haven't seen the Ted Bundy movie. It's like, it's not anything against him. It's just I'm not the target audience.
The Greatest Showman. It was good.
He was in Greatest Showman?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that either. But
he was Bailey of Barnum and Bailey.
Really? Mm-hmm. No, and honestly, I just feel like it's not like my demographic. He will be once he gets. I have this whole theory of like when young guys or actors, a lot of times they do like kind of like romantic type stuff because McConaughey did this a lot. Ben Affleck did this, but then once they get like 35, then you can start doing like better roles. So we'll see, because I don't necessarily know that he's a terrible actor, but he's very like relatable, because it's like, I feel like that's like the normal person watching this show. It's like you can watch Zac Efron and he's just getting his mind blown the entire show, because like they go to France and France has a public water system that is better than any water you can drink, even bottled here. They have all of this.
And it's free, and it's not like, selling bottles of water that's destroying the
environment. Yeah, they literally sell reusable bottles, and you go fill it up at the tap outside. But they have all this different type of stuff that's like, how can we do things better constantly? And Zac Efron's getting his mind blown. But the other co-host is Darren Olean. And both of us, while we were watching this, were like, who is this guy? Like, what is this guy's... I don't know how you describe that.
What tipped me off is because they were going all over the world, and I swear in almost every place they stopped, he's like, oh, I've got this friend. I want you to meet this colleague of mine that has this, and this that's, sustainable and does this to help the environment. And I'm like, this dude, this is the all-star in this show. Like, I think Zac Efron's, the eye candy for everyone, but this dude is the guy that knows everything.
More like Snack Efron.
Snack Efron. Oh god. Got him.
I was wondering if that was going to derail you, and it did. Thankful for that.
I was done with my thing that I was saying.
No, but basically they even admit it in the show. They talk about it, where Zac Efron had listened to one of Darren Olean's podcasts, and he really related to his message. He reached out to him and he said, I want to use my following, my social media following, for something positive. And so Darren Olean did this. And so I looked into this guy, and let me just tell you, this guy's up to a lot of stuff. Like, it's crazy. So for 15 years, he traveled around looking for superfoods. So I'm not talking, he generally like Googled it and stuff. He went constantly to like the Amazon and to every corner that he could possibly get in to try and find what native populations were eating. You know, what were their like medicine foods? What were the things that they were looking for to try and like solve X problem? And then he tried to use that in a more organized way, or at least to bring that to a Western audience that wouldn't have been there before. But he wrote a book called Super Life is part 1. So in this book, the point of it is there are 5 fixes that will make you healthy, fit, and eternally awesome is the name of the book. Kirk, it is on Audible.
So I can read it.
Yeah, you can read it with your ears. So basically the 5 forces that he's like trying to teach you about is quality nutrition, hydration, detoxification, oxygenation, and alkalization. So your pH. And he basically runs through how you can change all of these things and use all of those things so that you're healthier. Okay, so that's part 1. He wrote a book, kind of fitness guru type of guy. He's one of the founders of Barucas, a new super nut.
Barucas?
It's a super nut from the Savana Cerrado of Brazil. Through the sustainable business practices, the company is committed to supporting this important biome by planting 20 million Baruzieta trees. Basically, he found...
That's a lot of trees.
He found some kind of nut. Yeah, he found some kind of nut that is supposedly like a superfood. So on their website, and all this will be linked in the show notes. Seriously, this guy is just up to a bunch of crazy stuff. This nut apparently has 25% fewer fat calories than other nuts. It has 6 grams of protein with essential amino acids. It's loaded with minerals. It has a bunch of antioxidants, 3% higher than the most popular nuts, which I'm guessing is peanut. I feel like that's fair to say. Like peanut's the popular one, I guess. And it has the highest fiber of any nut. And also it's a great source of like regular vegan protein. And so he's also selling some kind of Brazilian nuts.
These nuts, man.
Yeah, where's Bend Over when you need him? Yeah, I know. This is his time. He also worked with a fitness company called Beachbody to formulate one of the top superfood shakes in the USA, a whole food supplement called Shakeology, which everyone has probably heard of.
Yep.
He also has a detox program that he's come up with. He launched in early 2020 an app called 121 Tribe, created to help people learn about whole food, plant-based eating, recipes, easy follow to education, and habitat tracking and exercise. He's an advisor to something called P5 Energy, a cutting-edge green technology incubator with a primary focus on zero pollution power systems. He is a partner in GreenPath, dedicated to real solutions for a new world with cutting-edge nanotechnology for hand and surface sanitation.
He's the superstar on that show.
No,
and a lot of people don't know who he is.
They put some surface on things that's naturally like disinfecting, which how important is that right now? It's through the roof. Like, and then he also is a director of strategic alliances and global health ambassador for APIX, I think is probably what it is. APPICS, a revolutionary new social media platform monetizing passion and content through cryptocurrency and blockchain. So we've talked about some things like this, where essentially if you get likes, if you get general pickup of your social media content, you can get like cryptocurrency for it. It's not something where it's just kind of like in the void or whatever else. You can literally be monetizing your effectiveness of social media. And I mean, the last line of this thing is Darren holds a Bachelor of Arts in Exercise Physiology, Nutrition, and a Master's in Psychology. So that's the least of the achievements, is that he's a multi-degree holder.
He's probably old enough to be our dad, and he looks better than we'll ever look.
Oh, he's yoked. Yeah, that dude's ripped.
He looks more fit than I'll ever dream of being.
And he's vegan. Like, yeah, the dude's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Like they would. it's a travel show, but they, of course, they eat food everywhere.
Take
and
their
stuff
shirts
like that.
off.
Take their shirts off. Get in the cold
Honestly,
bath, hot bath.
I'm exaggerating. It's like one episode. It's not like every episode has like a slow motion scene with jazz music where they're taking their shirts off. It's not.
There was a lot of, and I did catch it. There was a lot of like zoom ins on Zac Efron's like face, like looking off into the distance. I'm like, what is this? But no, the show is amazing. It's an amazing show. Can we talk about how it ends, or do you think that's a spoiler?
I'm on the fence because it's not like the show isn't like a narrative. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not. I just think it's very fascinating, and if someone's not going to watch the show, it's something interesting to discuss.
Okay, if you're concerned about hearing any information about the show, close your ears for a second. It's not a major spoiler though, so don't worry.
Yeah, so I just thought it was crazy because the whole time they're going around the world finding things that are going to help heal the planet, things that are going to help maintain things and to be good stewards of the planet. They talk about global warming a lot and things like that. And what's nuts is in the last episode, while they're at their last location, where were they at that time? I don't remember where they ended, but they were still on the other side of the world.
Remember.
And there were wildfires that were going off in California. And literally, while they're recording their last episode about global warming, about how the climate's changing and how bad like natural disasters are happening, Darren's house burns down. He loses everything.
His dog was fine.
Yeah, he had kenneled his dog because he was going out of town, luckily. But everything else, all of his possessions are just completely burned up. And it was just kind of this weird, like it kind of made everything feel real. And I know it wasn't like fabricated because literally he lost everything.
No, he goes to the house. It's a patch of ash.
It was weird because it's such a kind of lighthearted show most of the time. It's
they
fun.
really downer it for the ending.
And then right at the end, you see him walking through where his home used to be, and it's nothing but black ash, and he's just yelling like, it's like, God, like it's gone. And that's it. That's how it ends.
Yeah, the end. Just cut to black.
But it kind of like grabs you and it's like, come on, we can do better.
No, and he talked about like
it's real. It's not some.
We're seeing like extreme weather events, So
yeah, they go to Puerto Rico, and because of all the hurricanes that have hit there in the last 4 years, they've been hit by more hurricanes than most places will ever get hit by ever. It's crazy.
It's really interesting, it's really interesting to see them working, because here's the thing. I don't consider Zac Efron used in this situation. He wanted to do this. Mm-hmm. He wanted to use the awareness he had, and he has awareness. When he was in the Amazon, nobody knew who he was. They didn't care. But when he was in Europe, when he was in Italy, they knew who he was. It was very apparent they knew who he was. There was large groups of women who knew who he was. And they would show up. But he is using that to try and bring awareness to some major issues of the time, and that's a pretty great thing. And honestly, he is by the end you're like, you know what, I get it, man. My mind would be blown too. I'm no Darren Olean. I would be the Zac Efron.
There's one episode when they're in Italy and they're talking to all these people, because what they call it, the blue zone, where people live to be 100 and something, and it's consistent. They live longer lives than anyone else on the planet. And they were, looking at their diets and everything. But the biggest thing was just a much slower paced life, and just
and
enjoying
maybe genetics,
everything. And it blew his mind. He's like, man, I got to get out of LA.
Yeah.
And
he
you
literally
just
says multiple times, I'm leaving Hollywood. I can't do this.
You just see his brain being exploded. And he's like, I want more than what I have. And it's a good show. It's really a good show. I really like that Keith told us about it, because I never would have watched it if it wasn't for Keith. I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't have watched it.
It's great. I wouldn't have either, because like I said, I judged it based on the trailer that Netflix put on there. But Honestly, I
What's
did.
a decent? Let's go.
Yeah, I really did.
whatever.
I really did like it. Was that even in the show? I think it was. Maybe
It
I
was.
don't remember it, but it was a great show. It's a really fun one to check out. I highly recommend it. And I know that it was probably your turn to do a discovery, but this we've talked about before. We're like, single-use plastics, I feel like we've kind of universally understood that it's not great, and I'm trying to figure out like ways to like make that change to like do less with that, because you can make small changes and you're not contributing to the problem. And literally I saw an ad on Instagram, and I guess they just knew that I was watching Down to Earth or something. I don't know. They got me. But there's a company called Blue Land. Have you heard of this?
I have not.
They were on Shark Tank.
Okay, maybe if you explain it, I might.
Okay,
be like,
so
yeah,
it's
I remember that one.
basically they are a soap company, I guess you'd call it. But what they do is they sell you a 1 glass bottle, and then they sell you what looks like Alka-Seltzer tablets that you put in the bottle with
I
water.
do remember this.
And it turns into soap.
And it's not just soap; it's like
No, it can also be glass
hand
cleaner.
soap, cleaners, because every single product that you have in a spray bottle or a container like that, almost every single one of those, the main ingredient is water. Like 90% of the ingredient is water, if not more, most
So
of
they
the time.
decided to lean into that. But yeah, they sell cleaning sprays, so multi-surface glass bathroom mirror, foaming hand soap, dishwasher tablets, and laundry tablets. And all of it literally comes in like what looks like an Alka-Seltzer tablet. And so they do not sell plastic single-use containers that you throw away. They literally sell you glass bottles, because you buy 1 glass bottle and then you just get more tablets. And it's not something where you're constantly cycling through. You're doing the one thing, because literally on their website, and this is part of their ethos, it's part of their mission statement. It's part of what they're doing, is they're trying to decrease the amount of trash.
Mm-hmm.
And so 14 billion pounds of trash is dumped into the ocean each year is one of the things on their website. It has toxic effects on everyone. And as plastic breaks down, it becomes microplastics, and then it's in our foods. It's in us, it's in everything. That's one of the main problems they're seeing, is the small plastics that we can't filter out. And so I just thought it was cool. It was literally an ad I saw on Instagram, but I was like, that's interesting, because I've just kind of generally been interested in it.
I remember that on Shark Tank now. And I did think that one was a really good idea.
Yeah, they made it apparently.
That's great. All right, Zach, so what is the band of the week?
This week I have started a new segment on Creators Cove, because I was thinking about at least when I was a kid, when I would get a CD, I would always open the booklet, and look through the booklet and read all the stuff they said and like add all the lyrics in there. And I was like, that's not a thing anymore. You can't.
It's really not.
You can't look through a booklet. You're not getting a physical CD. So I was talking to George Payton last week, and he literally just said the word, and I was like, that's perfect. The new segment's called Liner Notes. So it's the liner notes for albums that live in a digital world now. And last week I talked to Adam Randall, who we've had on the show before. We've had his music at least. And we kind of go through his entire album. So I'm going to be releasing that very soon. It might be through his platform, because in the end, I would rather him be able to use that so that people listen to his album than me be able to put it on my feed immediately. So he has a new EP called Two Man Con that he recorded literally all remotely. He tracked his stuff. He sent it over to someone else. They tracked some stuff. They sent it to someone he didn't even know, and they tracked some stuff. And it sounds amazing. And I'm going to go with a song called One Bird that is about his two sons. And if you're at all interested in kind of his breakdown of this album, his liner notes, if you will, about this album, that will be available pretty soon. But thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for joining us on the live stream. We hope that you'll hop on our Facebook group, the Podcast Discovery Club. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear anything new you discover throughout the week. We have a Twitter. We have a Twitch channel. We have a YouTube channel. We have a lot of stuff, and we
have
really
a Discord. We haven't talked.
No,
We've had it for a very long time.
Talk about the Discord. Let everybody know what we're thinking on the Discord. Not what it was, but what it can be.
So the idea is our Discord is going to be our small community where we can connect with you guys. We can actually have movie nights, game nights. We can actually listen to the shows that we recommend together. And then you guys can be in the loop for what we're going to talk about on that next episode of the PDS. So I think it's going to be a really cool place to really build the community of Discovery, just like the Podcast Discovery Club, but we'll have more leeway because it's not Facebook. So we'll have a little bit more. And we actually have friends that I have people that have reached out to me and said, I would love to be a part of the club, but I don't do Facebook. Like I don't do that. So hopefully a Discord can be a middle ground where it's accessible to everybody.
Yeah, no, we really do want you guys to get in touch. If you listen to the show and you have any random thought you want to tell us, we want to hear it. We're very accepting, and we'd love to hear from you. But in the end, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it.
We love you.
Now, I hope you guys enjoy the song One Bird by Adam Randall.
Bye.
Everybody watching the live stream, thank you so much for checking out everything we're doing. This has been so fun to kind of work through, and it's not done. We're about to switch over. So hold on, refresh in like 1 minute.
Hold on to your butts.
Yeah, everybody hold on to your butts. Sam Jackson, Jurassic Park, classic advice. It's very important. But hold on to your butts because we're going to switch over the stream and it's game time. So Twigs, get on Overwatch. I think I saw Sheepy in the chat. Get on Overwatch. Josh, get on Overwatch. Let's go. It's time for PDS plays. We're going to play some video games. And let's do it. We're going to get it. Actually, I think Bunny Cat was in here too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bunny Cat, we need some expert knowledge in our game. So everybody lock in. We will be right back. Refresh the stream in about 2 minutes, and then it's game time. Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it.
See you guys next week. All right, let me hit the...
All right.